Hi friends, how are you all? Today I'll be talking about Jupiter-Saturn Conjunction in your birth chart. Do subscribe to my channel, and if you want consultation, my number is there in the video description. Friends, we'll talk about the Jupiter-Saturn Conjunction according to Bhrigunandinari astrology and also according to Parashari Jyotish. So, according to all these, schools, great schools of thought and philosophy, we will, look at, Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. So, let's get started. Friends, in Nari astrology, Saturn is primarily the significator of your profession. Yes, Saturn signifies your profession. Saturn is called the Karma Karak, that is significator of your karma. And Saturn, we know that is, a planet which signifies hard work, discipline, routine, yes, service. Saturn believes in justice, yes. And when Saturn is well positioned in a chart, friends, then Saturn, a benefic Saturn or a strong Saturn can also make a person highly analytical. So Saturn also signifies great analytical skills. Yes, and friends, because Saturn is the, the significator, the natural significator of the 8th house in the chart of the Kalpurush or cosmic man, or in the natural zodiac. Saturn is the significator of the natural significator of the 8th house. In 8th house, it is related to research, investigation, deep analysis, in-depth knowledge. So Saturn also signifies all that. Yes, friends. And Saturn also signifies, definitely justice. So punishment, reward and everything. Now friends, Saturn is the planet which signifies time, death, even longevity, long life. Saturn signifies obstacles. Friends, all kinds of obstacles that we encounter in life. Yes, delay. Yes, then Saturn also signifies restrictions, limitations. Okay, and friends, Saturn, is also the significator of impotency. That also. Yes, impotency, because Saturn is, sometimes, looked upon as, representing an old man who is sexually impotent and weak, very weak. So sexual impotency is also connected with Saturn. Now friends, Saturn signifies age. Yes, aging, the whole process of aging, because Saturn signifies time. Saturn signifies your profession, discipline, I told you. So Saturn will reward you also, and you will definitely, the gains and the rewards that you get in life, that is also in the hands of Saturn, because Saturn is the ultimate arbiter, the ultimate judge. Yes, because Saturn believes in justice, in doing justice. So friends, Saturn also shows negativity sometimes, negative thoughts. Saturn can also show skepticism, doubt, even self-doubt. Yes, being very critical, also self-critical, and very critical and judgmental about others. Saturn can show that. Saturn can also show deception. It can also show secrecy. Yes, friends, very interesting. So Saturn signifies all that. Saturn can signify sorrow. Yes. Saturn can also signify non-attachment. Non-attachment. So Saturn, if Saturn is well positioned, then after the age of 35, or 40, the native may also turn towards spirituality or towards some spiritual path, because Saturn also shows non-attachment, because it is the natural significator also of the 12th house of the cosmic man. Okay friends, now let us go to Jupiter. Yes, if you compare with Saturn, then Saturn shows skepticism, doubt, yes, and pessimism also Saturn can show. Jupiter shows optimism. Yes, positive thinking. Jupiter shows that. So you can see that these are almost, in this respect, they are almost two opposite poles, at least in this respect. But friends, not in every respect, because Saturn also shows non-attachment. Jupiter also shows spirituality, because Jupiter is the lord of the 12th house, the natural lord of the 12th house in the chart of the cosmic man. So Jupiter definitely shows or signifies spirituality. Saturn also shows non-attachment. If Saturn believes in justice, Jupiter also believes in justice. Yes, friends, because Jupiter is the ultimate knowledge and wisdom. Jupiter represents that. So Jupiter definitely believes in justice. But Jupiter believes also in showing mercy. That is one big thing. Saturn believes in being very just, and Saturn will not show mercy generally. But Jupiter also has mercy and compassion. That is why Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is the sign of emotions, yes, of nurture, of care, of love, definitely motherly love. So Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So Jupiter definitely signifies also, forgiveness, mercy. Yes, and Jupiter, friends, is the ultimate teacher, guru, the spiritual leader. Jupiter signifies any teacher, even your parents. Our parents are our first teachers, so they can also be represented by Jupiter. Parents are the first teachers for a child. So all our gurus and teachers, they are represented by Jupiter. Yes, Jupiter signifies higher learning, moral values. Yes, moral principles, morality, spirituality, I told you. Jupiter also signifies higher education. Yes, higher purpose in life, spiritual knowledge. Jupiter signifies that. Hence, even priests, Jupiter signifies priests also, or any kind of even spiritual leader. And Jupiter signifies all your teachers. Yes, in school, college, university, any level, all teachers, they are represented by Jupiter. Then friends, Jupiter also signifies all your gurus, I told you. Jupiter signifies even wealth and prosperity. Yes, Jupiter signifies wealth and prosperity, because it is the natural significator of the second house. Second house is the house of your accumulated wealth. So Jupiter can signify wealth, prosperity. Jupiter in Parashari astrology is the significator of the husband in a female chart. In a female chart, Jupiter can signify the husband. In Nadi astrology, Bhrigunandi Nadi, in a female chart, the husband is represented by Mars. But in Parashari Jyotish, husband is represented by Jupiter. In Bhrigunandi Nadi astrology, the second husband of the woman is represented by Jupiter. The second husband of the female is represented by Jupiter. The first husband by Mars. But in Parashari Jyotish or Parashari astrology, husband is represented always by Jupiter. Okay. But Jupiter in Vedic astrology is considered to be the significator of childbirth. Yes, Jupiter signifies childbirth. Jupiter is the significator of the life force. Jupiter is actually the life-giving force. Hence, Jupiter also signifies oxygen. Yes, friends? And Jupiter is, that is why in Bhrigunandi Nadi, Jupiter, it represents the native. It is the significator of the native. Yes? Okay. Now, friends, what else we can say? Jupiter is now in conjunction with Saturn. then what kind of results you can expect in your chart? It's going to be a very interesting combination. Yes, Jupiter is with Saturn. All right. So, friends, now Jupiter in Bhrigunandinari is the significator of the native. Native is signified by Jupiter, and Saturn stands for the native's profession. Native's profession, okay, or work. This shows that if they are conjunct in the chart, in any house, it shows that the native will always be busy with work. This is a very, very, you can say a very important conclusion that we can draw from Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. The native will always be busy with some work or the other. He will have something to do. So he will be engaged in some profession or some business. That will happen. Give me 1 second, friends. I'll just open the window. It's very hot. 1 second. Yeah. Then, friends, Jupiter and Saturn conjunction. Now, if this conjunction is taking place in Kendra houses or in Trikon, Dharm Trikon is 1, 5, 9, or in the Kendra houses, that is 1, 4, 7 and 10, then definitely this conjunction will be very strong. You also need to look at the degrees, the difference in degrees between Jupiter and Saturn. Yes, friends? If the difference is, it should be within 10 degrees, friends. Then only this conjunction will be strong. The difference should be, of degrees, should be 10 degrees. I mean, 10 degrees difference should be there. I mean, that is the maximum limit. So, the closer, the better. I mean, the stronger. So, at least 10 degrees you need. I mean, they should be that close. If it is more than 10 degrees, the distance is more than 10 degrees, then the conjunction will be there, but it will become a little weak, a little loose, but conjunction will be there. But if it is within 10 degrees, it will be very strong. And the closer, if the planets, if they are very close, like the closer they come, the conjunction will naturally be stronger and stronger. Okay, friends? So that you have to see. And friends, how will you know whether this conjunction will give you good results or not? Believe me, even if this conjunction is in the Dusthana houses, that is the malefic houses, 6, 8, 12. Don't think that it is in 6, 8, 12, so this conjunction will not be effective. It is not that. Suppose this conjunction is in the 8th house. And Jupiter is knowledge, Saturn is your profession or work. And if you are using the 8th house energy, if you are into astrology, if you are into tarot card reading, if you are into any kind of occult sciences, if you are into any kind of technology or research, or if you are into insurance, that is any kind of insurance company, if you are associated with that, if you are into the taxation department, chartered accountancy, audit, if you are into underground mining, into any kind of technology, then don't worry, because 8th house is related to all these things. Your profession is connected to that. Then this conjunction will be good for you. So never think that, oh, it is, yeah, if this conjunction is in the 8th house and unfortunately, if the native is not using the 8th house energy in any way, in his profession especially, if the native is not using, then there may be a little problem. Yes, friends, why? Because Jupiter is also, the prosperity, the name and fame also that you attain in society. And now Jupiter is in the 8th house. So again, the person, there may be any kind of defamation at some point of time in life. It may happen. Especially during the maybe Mahadasha or Antardasha or Pratyantardasha, any kind of dasha of Jupiter or Saturn, because they are in the 8th house. So friends, it is always advisable to use the 8th house energy if the conjunction is in the 8th house. Yes friends? There is some noise outside. I'm so sorry friends. Please don't get distracted. This is a very interesting topic. Then friends, suppose if it is in the 6th house, yes, and then you have to see whether your job is related to the 6th house. Yes, 6th house shows, it's 6th house can show service. Yes, it can show service. But 6th house also shows, any kind of litigation and all. That is also seen by 6th house. So just find out. Say Jupiter is in the 6th house. Are you in the profession of law? Because 6th house shows litigation. Then you are using that energy of the 6th house. If you are in the profession of law, then it will be good for you. So you just have to look at that. And friends, suppose if it is in the 12th house, people think, oh my God, they tell me, ma'am, the conjunction is in the 12th house. It is good in the 12th house. Because in the 12th house, I would say, why it is good, Saturn is the natural significator of the 12th house. Jupiter is the natural lord of the 12th house in the chart of the Kalpurush or cosmic man. And now they are sitting together in the 12th house. Yes, it will be good provided the native moves towards some spiritual path or some spiritual practice. What does that mean? That means 12th house also shows charity or donation. Donating something to the poor and needy and unprivileged. You do that. Yes, also it shows spirituality. So if your profession is connected to any kind of, you can say, imparting spiritual knowledge or even meditation and yoga, if your profession is connected to that, it will be very good. So friends, we need to use the energy. And 12th house also shows foreign land. So if you have moved away from your native place and if you are in a foreign land, you may do very well, because Saturn is the significator of profession. Saturn is in the 12th house. 12th house shows foreign land. Or maybe you are in your native place only, but you are dealing with some foreign people, you are dealing with some foreign company, or you are dealing with foreigners in your professional life. Then also it will be very good. Okay. Now friends, Saturn also shows any kind of friends, especially if Saturn is a little weak. Please look at the Navamsha chart also. Yes, Navamsha chart will show the dignity of Saturn. Look at the dignity of Saturn and Jupiter there also. Say even in the birth chart, Saturn is in the, say, 12th house. No doubt you have to use the 12th house energy, but even otherwise you can say that, say Saturn and Jupiter, if the conjunction is very close, then I have seen that Saturn also shows any problem related to joint pains. Yes, and if the conjunction is very close, especially 1 degree difference, or sometimes I have seen in some charts there is a less than 1 degree difference also. Yes, less than 1 degree. Then the native may have joint pain. Why friends? Because Jupiter is the significator of the native and Saturn shows joint pain. Some problems related to joints, that is especially your bones, that is knee joints, especially knee joints. So I have seen that the person may have some problem, either arthritis or any pain in the knee joints. If the conjunction is very close, you need to look at that. Okay, so for that the native has to do breathing exercises or pranayam regularly, because Saturn is also an airy planet. Yes, airy, and pranayam is breathing. Yes, so when you breathe in oxygen, then Saturn is an airy planet, then that oxygen will go inside you and it will help you to come out of joint pains or any kind of other health issues also. So you should do pranayam, you should do meditation. That is a very good remedy. You should do breathing exercises regularly. especially if the conjunction is very close, friends. So please take into the consideration. And also, friends, Saturn is any kind of obstruction, and Jupiter is breath. Your breath, the breath that you take in, and the air that you inhale or whatever you exhale, your entire breathing process, the air that you exhale and also the air that you inhale, the respiratory or the breathing process, that is also controlled by Jupiter, that is signified by Jupiter. And Saturn is any kind of obstacle, so you need to do breathing exercises also. Then friends, Jupiter is the native, it signifies the native, and Saturn is also obstacles and trials, tribulations, difficulties, problems, struggle, sorrow. These things are shown by Saturn. So there is also a strong indication that in the first part of his life, the native will have to undergo a lot of struggle, a lot of problems, especially until the age of 35. It may happen, because usually Saturn will start giving you better results after the native attains the age of 33 or 35. After that only, after the first round of Saturn's transit, it takes 30 years. But then, say from the age of 33 onwards, the native may be able to experience some sort of relief. It may happen. So delay, always delay in whatever he does, because Jupiter signifies your life. Jupiter is the planet which signifies the life of the native. Now Saturn is with Jupiter. Now look at the closeness of the conjunction, then it will be clear to you. If it is very close, then yes, delay in your work, delay in getting your work done, delay in everything in life, delay even in settling down. You want to settle down in life, again there may be delay. Jupiter signifies childbirth, delay in childbirth. Yes, if Saturn is afflicted, or maybe the other combinations in the chart also are there, that sort of combination, then say Saturn is the 5th lord, 5th house is the house of the children, and sitting in the 12th house, then even the native may not have child. Jupiter signifies childbirth, Jupiter is with Saturn, delay in childbirth, or even sometimes depends on other factors. So even there will be very difficulty in getting a child also after marriage. That also you can say. Then friends, in Parashari astrology, Jupiter signifies the husband, and Saturn and Jupiter, if they are very close, then especially in the case of the female native, she will be distanced from her husband. It is also seen. If the conjunction is very close, then definitely she will be distanced, because Saturn is the planet of isolation. Saturn is the planet of isolation also. Saturn also shows confinement, because 12th house signifies confinement and isolation. Saturn is the significator of separation. So either the female native may be separated from her husband, or there will be some distance. Even if they maybe live in the same house, she will be distanced or estranged from her husband. This may happen. This definitely happens if the conjunction is very close. And if it is average, if say the degrees, the difference in degrees is average, then also to some extent this will be seen in the life of the female native. Now friends, also what we can say, Jupiter is your faith. Yes, Jupiter signifies your faith in God, in religion, in any divine power that you believe in. Saturn is restriction, limitation. So maybe till the age of 30, 33, the native may have some reservations. The native may not believe, and especially if Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is there, it is also seen that the natives are very practical. They are very practical. They will not believe in all the rituals, elaborate rituals that are followed in any religion. They will not believe, they will question. They will question the authenticity, the legitimacy. They will question the propriety, the validity of such customs, elaborate rituals. They will question, because Saturn is very analytical. Saturn makes you very analytical. You need to go to the crux of the matter. You need to go to the depth of the matter, the root of the problem. So you will question. You will question all kinds of religious practices, especially if the conjunction is a strong one. You will not blindly believe what your ancestors also have asked you to believe, what even your parents have asked you to believe. You will not blindly, you will question that, why should I practice all that? Should I do all that? Or instead of spending so much of money in doing these rituals, should I go to some orphanage and old age home, and should I donate money to the poor and needy? So these people, they'll be very, very analytical. They have this analytical bent of mind. They will keep questioning. Serving man is also serving God. Serve man, serve God. That's what Swami Vivekananda, the great sage, had said. Service to man is service to God. So such people, they believe also in, they're very practical. So their Saturn gives you practicality, and Jupiter is your faith, religious faith. So you will be very practical also. That doesn't mean they won't be religious. They'll be religious. They'll be God-fearing also. But they will maybe serve the poor in order to serve God. They will serve the unprivileged in order to serve God. Because Saturn gives you that practical bent of mind. That also can happen. That happens, I have seen. You have to look at the dignity of the conjunction. Yes, Saturn and Jupiter, they should be in good, compatible, friendly or own signs or signs of exaltation. Then this conjunction will give you good results. Otherwise, if they are in enemy signs, or if the dignity of Jupiter and Saturn is not good, if they are in nakshatras also, the energy of that nakshatra, the lord of that nakshatra is not well placed in the chart, then friends, again what will happen, the native also will not think this way. Then there will be other things. What they will be? The native will be very judgmental, very judgmental. He will question all religious beliefs and practices. He will question. But again, he will not have that, generosity to even help or reach out to the needy. He will not do that. He will just keep questioning, and he will complain about things, and he'll be very critical, very pessimistic, very negative, and very skeptical and very judgmental. So that will happen if Saturn is not in good dignity. He will question. But again, he will also not do anything which is meaningful. So that will happen. Especially if they are in good, friendly, compatible signs, zodiac signs, and if they are in a nakshatra, the nakshatra lord is also well posited, then friends, such people are very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable. Jupiter gives knowledge, Saturn gives insight and in-depth knowledge. Saturn gives you the ability to analyze everything and go deeper and deeper and deeper into everything. And Jupiter gives that, definitely it gives you wisdom and knowledge. So it is going to be a very good conjunction actually, if it is in signs which are to some extent compatible, nakshatras which are also to some extent compatible, then it will be very good. Otherwise there may be some problem. So friends, you need to look at the dignity of Jupiter and Saturn. And friends, in also Parashari astrology, or maybe according to some books in astrology, it is believed that you should look at the degrees of the planet, and the planet which is at a lower degree, the planet which is at a lower degree, that planet is believed to control the conjunction in some way. The planet which is at a lower degree, this is according to some books in astrology, they believe this, that the lower degree, the planet which is at a lower degree will control the conjunction. Now if I look at Bhrigu Nandinari, friends, I will be able to tell you why it will happen that the planet which is at the lower degree will to some extent influence the conjunction a little more. Why? Because friends, you see, in Nari astrology, we believe, say, I'll give you an example. Say Saturn is at 8 degrees. Saturn is at 8 degrees and Jupiter, one second friends, not 8 degrees. Say Saturn is at 11 degrees, say, and Jupiter is at 10 degrees. What is the difference now? 1 degree? Okay. Jupiter is at 10 degree. So Jupiter is lower, at a lower degree, and Saturn is at 11 degrees. So according to even Parashari Jyotish, or according to, people have different opinions, but I have come across that yes, in some books, that the planet which is at a lower degree will control. That means here Jupiter will control, because Jupiter is at 10 degrees, Saturn is at 11. Now friends, you go to BNN, Bhrigu Nadi. There what we believe is that the planet which is at a lower degree, that planet is now moving towards the planet which is at a higher degree. This is also very natural, friends. That is how planet move. In Nadi astrology, we believe that Jupiter makes progression, Saturn also makes progression. The natal Jupiter, the natal Saturn, they make progression. Yes, within the whole chart, they keep moving from one sign to another, one house to another. We believe that. Okay. Unless Jupiter is retrograde, Jupiter will also have a tendency to go backwards. But Jupiter is not always backwards throughout the year. It goes backwards. A retrograde planet goes backwards for a certain duration. Again, it moves forward. So, friends, what I am telling you, Jupiter is now moving ahead naturally, and so Jupiter is moving towards Saturn. Saturn is at 11 degrees. Jupiter is moving towards Saturn. That means in Nadi astrology, we believe that Jupiter now will have to acquire the qualities of Saturn. Jupiter is moving towards Saturn. Jupiter is at 10 degrees, Saturn is at 11 degrees. Jupiter is moving towards Saturn. So that means Jupiter wants to acquire the qualities of Saturn. What does that mean, friends? Jupiter is the native. The native now wants to be disciplined, wants to be punctual. Native is moving towards Saturn. The native wants to be disciplined. The native wants to be a workaholic. The native wants to focus on his or her work. And very close, this is 1 degree difference. The native wants to focus on her profession, on her business, on her work, on her job, on her service. The native wants to be very organized. The native is a lover of justice. The native is moving towards Saturn. Jupiter is moving towards Saturn. The native wants to do justice. I have also seen, friends, when Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is also strong, then the natives, they justify everything. They justify their own actions. They justify themselves. They are critical about others, judgmental, yes, about others, especially until the age of 35. They are very critical, very judgmental about others. But later on, as Saturn gives them maturity, yes, then they realize that yes, well, I should not be so judgmental about everyone, especially about elders. I should not be, even about colleagues or peers or about anyone. I should not be judgmental about people. So gradually they realize this. But initially they are very judgmental until the age of 33, 35. Later on they realize that no, I should not. Jupiter gives them that knowledge, wisdom, and Saturn also becomes mature after the age of 33, 35. So they stop being judgmental. They justify their own actions, they justify themselves, they are self-critical. They are very self-critical, such people. They criticize themselves all the time. So that is why such people, friends, before making any decision, they think many times. Now friends, you see, Jupiter is optimism. Jupiter is the planet of optimism. So positive thinking. So, and Saturn is again pessimism, negative thinking. to some extent, definitely. Restriction is there, no? Saturn shows restriction, limitation. So such natives, what will happen, friends, especially until the age of 35 or 33, one moment they'll be very positive, very excited, very optimistic about something. The next moment, they will not be that excited or interested, because again they'll be now gripped by some fear, by doubt, skepticism. They will analyze whether it is going to work or not, whether I should go for it or not. So they will start questioning and analyzing the whole situation, because Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, Jupiter will make them very optimistic. So friends, please don't mind, there's some sound, which is coming from outside. So Jupiter will make them very optimistic, but Saturn will again maybe pull them back to reality. Saturn will pull them back to reality and will make them grounded, will make them realize that yes, they also need to look at the situation properly, they need to analyze it properly before taking any step forward. So that is why it is also seen, friends, that these natives, they are good at decision making. Such a conjunction can make very good judge. They can be members of the jury, they can be a lawyer, they can be very good, even they can do well in politics, because Saturn is also connected to politics. A well placed Saturn with Jupiter, Jupiter gives you that, even the vision. Saturn also gives far sighted vision. So this conjunction is good for a politician also. Then friends, it is good for being a teacher. Saturn is your profession, Jupiter is teacher. So you have this conjunction, you can be a very good teacher of any subject. You can be a very good teacher if you have this conjunction. You can be a guide, you can be a life coach, you can be a motivational speaker if you have Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. You can be a good counselor, you can give people advice, counsel. So friends, what I was telling you, degrees according to Bhrigunandinadi. Jupiter is at 10 degrees, Saturn is at 11 degrees. Jupiter is moving towards Saturn. So Jupiter is the native wants to acquire all the good qualities of Saturn, because it is Jupiter after all. Yes, definitely you need to look at the dignity in which Jupiter is placed. If Jupiter is in more or less good dignity, the native will always move towards attaining all the good qualities that Saturn signifies. He will be a lover of justice. He will stand up against injustice. He will speak in favor of the unprivileged. Yes, he will speak in their favor. He will go out of his way to help others. This will happen. Jupiter, the native, is moving towards Saturn. All the good qualities of Saturn. This also you can say. Again, Saturn signifies obstacles. So definitely the native will also encounter obstacles. But yes, after the age of 35, the native definitely is able to overcome the obstacles one by one and is able to gain wisdom and knowledge. Friends, this conjunction is specifically considered to be very good for your professional life. Yes, it is considered to be very good for your professional life. Saturn is profession, Jupiter is your wisdom and knowledge. You have knowledge about your profession. What else do you need? Nobody can stop you from shining in your professional sphere. This is a wonderful conjunction for your professional life, friends. But this conjunction I have seen is not so good for your marital life. It is not so good, because Jupiter is somehow connected to childbirth. In Parashari astrology, Jupiter signifies the husband in the chart of the female native. So this conjunction and Jupiter signifies everything. Your money, prosperity. The native may experience some scarcity of money also. Saturn shows scarcity. That also may happen, friends. Some scarcity of money. That also. Yes. And so all these things you can say, friends, if Jupiter-Saturn. Now friends, so Jupiter is now, I said Jupiter is at 10 degrees, Saturn at 11. So Jupiter is now moving towards Saturn. And Saturn means your profession. Saturn is your profession. Saturn is at a higher degree. Saturn is at 11 degrees, I said just now. That means Saturn has absorbed, according to BNN, Bhrigunandinadi, Saturn has absorbed all the qualities of Jupiter already. This means when Saturn is at a higher degree. This is the meaning. That Saturn has absorbed all the qualities of Jupiter already. Yes, that means the native's profession, definitely it is connected to imparting knowledge. Jupiter shows knowledge, giving counsel, advice, doing some kind of counseling. Yes, maybe he is connected to some NGO that believes in charity. Because now profession has now absorbed all the qualities of Jupiter. So his profession also will definitely be connected to whatever Jupiter signifies. Jupiter also signifies gold. So profession may be connected to even that. Jupiter also signifies, your wealth. So Jupiter signifies prosperity. Now Saturn, Jupiter signifies expansion. Saturn already has all the qualities of Jupiter. What does that mean, friends? That means the native's profession, it has that potential of expansion already. The natives, because Jupiter shows expansion of your wealth, growth in your name, fame, status, prosperity, everything. The native's profession already has the potential of all that growth and development and expansion. It has that potential because Saturn is at a higher degree. The native has to realize that. It is only a matter of realization. And so after the age of 35, at least, if the native is able to realize his life path, he need to actually, Saturn is profession. He needs to find his suitable profession, friends. Which way he should go. And once he is able to figure out that, this conjunction will give him growth and prosperity in life. It will give him, there will be expansion in his, there will be a lot of expansion. There will be a lot of growth in his wealth, in his prosperity. So, there will be a lot of prosperity. And this prosperity will come from his profession only. This will happen. Now friends, if Saturn is at a lower degree, Saturn is at 10 degrees and Jupiter is at 11, then what will happen? Then it is also believed that somehow Saturn is at a lower degree, so Saturn may control. So now Saturn is at a lower degree, Jupiter. So the native already has all the qualities of Saturn. Because Jupiter is at a higher degree, say 11 degrees, then the native is signified by Jupiter. The native already has all the qualities of Jupiter. The native is already somebody who is very disciplined. He's already somebody who is very punctual, very disciplined, very organized, workaholic, who believes in work. Because Jupiter has already absorbed all the qualities of Saturn. Yes, and Saturn is now moving towards Jupiter. Because Saturn is at 10 degrees now, Jupiter is at 11. So Saturn is moving towards Jupiter. So his profession is now moving towards knowledge. Profession is moving towards now knowledge, whatever Jupiter signifies. Okay, then maybe his profession is now going to be in his professional life, he wants to definitely use the energy of Jupiter. Jupiter signifies the profession of teaching, because profession is moving towards Jupiter. So it is almost, there is a conjunction. So in this case you can say that yes, even if Saturn is at a lower degree also and Jupiter is at a higher degree, profession will now move towards whatever Jupiter signifies. That is why, friends, we believe that this conjunction is very good for the profession of teaching, preaching, counseling. This profession is very good for that, and also for following any path of spirituality in life, doing any kind of spiritual practice. Yes, this conjunction is very good for that. Yes, you can be connected to some organizations, social welfare organizations who are helping out people, who are reaching out to the needy and helping them. Jupiter-Saturn conjunction people, they can be connected to such organizations. And friends, what do you mean by conjunction? Conjunction does not only mean that Jupiter and Saturn, they are in one particular house. Conjunction means that in Bhrigunandi Nadi, conjunction means Jupiter and Saturn, they must have some, they also may have, either they are in one house or they may have some kind of aspect. Some aspect they should be there between them. That is, they must aspect each other. So Jupiter has first aspect, that is in the same house both of them will be first aspect. Second aspect, Jupiter has third aspect. Fifth aspect, which is a trinal aspect. Jupiter has seventh aspect, which is a direct mutual aspect. Seventh aspect. Then ninth aspect is again trinal aspect. Jupiter has 11th and 12th. All these aspects Jupiter has. But yes, the most powerful aspects are in Bhrigunandi Nadi. They are second. Third is also considered to be an aspect. But the most powerful ones are second and 5th, 9th and 7th. These are very powerful in BNN. Then you go to Saturn. Saturn also has all these aspects. In addition to that, Saturn has one more aspect, that is the 10th aspect. And Saturn's third aspect is considered to be very important, even in Bhrigunandi Nadi. Saturn's third aspect is very important. Third aspect is very important, even second aspect is important in BNN. Fifth aspect is a trinal aspect, ninth is also trinal, seventh is also important, and Saturn's 10th aspect is important. So if there is a relation of aspect also between these two planets, then also we will say that there is some kind of conjunction. So friends, all these things we can say when Jupiter and Saturn, they are together. Yes friends. So you please find out friends whether you have any sort of aspect between Saturn and Jupiter. Then also we will say that Jupiter and Saturn, they are in some sort of conjunction. So what kind of aspect they have on each other. So please find out friends, and then you will definitely come to know that whether you have a conjunction and what kind of conjunction it is. Look at the zodiac sign, look at the nakshatra, look at the house in which the planets are placed. So these things will definitely tell you a lot more about the dignity, about the nature of this conjunction and what kind of results you can expect from this conjunction. So friends, do subscribe to my channel. That's all for today. Hope you like this video. Thank you so much.